picture is our very own David Cahill. David's going to be talking about our contact product diligence. So I'll hand it over to David.
Oh, just hold it.
I'll take it on you. I'll swap you.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Emily. And thank you, Kurt. Looks like we've got an amazing app there, and that's just what we need in the industry, isn't it? We didn't really plan it this way, but there have been two really solid themes tonight, trust and confidence. It sort of came together through all of the presentations, really. And when the context to what this pitch is about is indeed trust and confidence. As lawyers, and I with Michael head up the compliance side of Helix, and we deal more with the financial aspects of the construction world. But when our lawyers are dealing with contracts, they want to know who the parties are. They're often faced with contractual situations where the contracts are no longer valid, and they need to refer to 5, 6 different sources of information. So what we decided to do was bring those sources of information together in one-stop shop, you might say. Is that working, Emily? Is it the arrow one?
Has it gone on the blink, has it?
Has it gone on the blink for me? Lucky last.
Oh, I'm glad I did.
I've got it on my iPad.
Oh, no.
Is there a manual version? Oh.
Yeah, I'll bring the
keyboard.
I'll tap it.
Yeah, great. Well, it should be obvious. So I wanted to give you some context to the product itself. Keep going, Emily, please. Yeah. We're a 20-person firm now, very disparate skill sets, financial, commercial, and of course legal. So we're drawing on all of that experience and the many different assignments and client issues that we deal with on a daily basis. Yeah, shall I come over there and flick it? Would that be easy? Oh, is it working? Oh, there it is, great. Now, unfortunately, I am from the industry, nearly 10 years as the CFO of a construction group. And unfortunately, and it isn't all of our making, there are a lot of insolvencies in the industry right now. We are, the facts show, not particularly in Queensland, but across the country, we are one of the most risk industries out there. We're about 15% higher than the average in terms of the insolvency rate. But it is a huge industry, and the numbers, we're probably the biggest employer other than government across the country when you go end-to-end in construction. So there are many players in the industry. And when I want to feel the pulse of the construction industry, there's one person I look out for, and it's Scott Hutchinson, the chairman, CEO of Hutchinson Builders, 50 years in the industry, a $3 billion turnover group, most of which, I think all is in Australia. So they know the industry really well. And he was, just last week, he was asked to do a Q&A interview with the Fin Review. And it was published, and he doesn't pull his punches. When do we expect insolvency to stabilise? And he expects problems to continue throughout this year and all of next year. And that's a pretty horrific prospect. And they are pulling out of contracts where they had fixed prices and the clients won't renegotiate. These are unprecedented events really in our industry. He was asked, are we seeing an end to fixed price contracts? That is one of the major issues in the industry, fixing the price of a contract at time naught and having to keep to that price throughout a very long period. What industry, can anybody name an industry where I'll give you a price today for something I will deliver in nearly a year to 18 months' time? There are just no industries where anyone would commit to that. Does he see the risk metronome switching more to the client than the builder? And he does, but he thinks it will swing back the other way in this, I think it's in this comment. No, in this one, security payments we've talked about a little bit tonight, and trusts. And the federal government are now looking at bringing in systems of particularly retention trusts into the construction industry. And unfortunately, Scott feels that subcontractors are their own worst enemy. So from a builder's point of view, sorry. Is this meant?
Testing and resilience.
This is meant to test me. Oh, is it power? Sorry, you bastard. But to finish off on Scott Hutchinson, he feels that the industry is still very unstable. He feels the confidence levels have gone, and that information and the ability to look forward and see what's going to happen in the industry just isn't there anymore. So when we get the screen back up, it doesn't worry if we don't. The diligence product, which is meant to be the bulk of my pitch, it's an online software tool, and it brings together 5 different databases. Some of them are behind paywalls, so most people will know about ASIC, the Australian Securities Investment Commission, and we all have to lodge information there, but you have to pay for it. It's $44 to get the most simple of searches. Who owns the business? What's the share capital? So what we've done is brought together 5 of the major databases into one product. And when you run a diligence report, you can see instantly who owns the business. Are they experienced in that business? How long have they been directors? Does the business hold a license for the work that they're tendering to you for? Have they been sued, or are they litigious? Have they sued other people? It brings together all of the court data throughout Australia into one PDF report. It's all searchable, and you can extract from it. I would like to show you some screens if we can get there, so looks like we're nearly there. And in one source, and when I was at my previous employer, if we had this available to us, it's only really been available for 2 years. If we had this available to us, I'll flick through the area. I would have insisted as the CFO that every contract we let, this report should have been run as part of the setting up of that account and checking out the subcontractors. And of course, the people who fund our industry, banks, mezzanine lenders, they've lost confidence as well. They want assurance, they want due diligence performing at every level of the process now. And with diligence, we feel it's not the complete solution. It does need the human input if you want to carry out a full due diligence investigation into someone. But let's have a look at some of the screens. So in this case, you can see on this screen, which is the entry screen into the product, we can see when the company was formed, who owns the business, director information, and we give you a high-level view of whether they are likely to be a risky partner for your business. And we try and answer, and we do, I think, in almost all the cases we've seen, we answer these 5 questions. Do they have the license to carry out the right work? If they do, there's a link in the report that takes you out to where that license is sourced. Do they have a track record for not paying? Have they been sued by anyone? Are they reported as being a late payer? Is the management team experienced? Have they been directors a long time or only recently? Are they local? Are they offshore? Who is signing your contract? And who's got the power to make decisions? And we've tried to bring, as I mentioned earlier, all of those 5 different sources of data. Some are behind paywalls, some are just very difficult to use, like the PPSR register, for example. And it really does save a lot of time. Within seconds, you can have all of that information in one place. You get an indication or of any red flags, and without this, you really do struggle to collaborate across your business and get all of that information into one place. So with an ABN, the process starts, you run the search. You can do a light search or the full diligence search. If you've dealt with the business before and you just want to check if the directors are the same, if the registered office is the same, then you would just run the light search. Sorry, Emily, it's gone again. Let's have a look. Is that working? I think the batteries might be, if you wouldn't mind clicking it on.
My computer wanted to do it.
Oh, it went to the right. And we can download the report as a PDF. It is written in plain English. You don't need a law degree. We would like you to use a lawyer as often as you can. But it is in plain English, very good graphics and indicators. So if they have a QBCC license, if it's a Queensland contractor, they will need a license of some sort. It provides you with the license, hyperlinks out to where the license sits so that you can see the detail for yourself. In this case, it is multiplex, but yes, they had 154 court actions. They are all listed, and where data is available, we can take you out to that so that you can see why that case occurred and whether it's still on foot. Adjudications, of course, when we argue in the construction industry, we are meant not to go straight to court. We're meant to go through adjudicators, and the full decision is searchable. What was the issue at hand? Who won the case? What was the amount involved? Really valuable if you're trying to understand the psyche of a business and who you're dealing with. Courts cases as well, and across the whole gamut of issues that we face, from personal injuries, workplace health and safety issues, environmental. You really do want to know that you're dealing with a well-organized business that's ethical and safe, and they have a good history. Everything searchable and linked. Company notices, they're very difficult to really understand on the ASIC website. You have to wrap through multiple pages to get to the information. Well, they're all listed here in chronological order and very easy to follow and link and see if it's important to your situation. So we think it's a very broad product. We think it's a very useful product. It's for a low fixed fee, and I know Janelle's willing to negotiate for volume users. And detailed advice, it sits behind it as well if you need to speak to a human, and we'd rather you speak to a Helix human if that was the case. So please don't hesitate to ask us for a login, and we'll give you a free search so that you can search yourselves and see if it's relevant to your business. Terrific. Sorry for the tech issues there. Probably me.